Hey there, Rockstar, and welcome to day 3 of your 7-day beginner belly dance jumpstart. I am so excited to dance with you today and to talk about the movement and the concept we are going to be practicing. Today's movement is the undulation. This is a snaky, sinewy movement of the entire torso and is quite a lot of fun and feels really good to do. And what I would like for us to do, in addition to learning how to do the move and understanding the muscular elements behind it, is to also take a moment to focus on our breathing as we do it. In everyday life in general, I don't know if you're anything like me, but I find that often I breathe really shallowly and I'm not getting like all the oxygen in that my body needs to really respond and perform and be as healthy as possible. Doubly so is it's so important in dance, right? Obviously, it's important that we breathe all the time. And I invite you to kind of check in with yourself right now. How are you breathing? Are you breathing? Are you breathing deeply? Are you breathing shallowly? Are you breathing through the nose? Are you breathing through your mouth? It's things we don't really think about because it's kind of automatic, thank goodness, or else I might completely forget to do it, right? But today, as we practice this movement, I want you to focus on being sure you're breathing, because as we learn new things, we sometimes hold our breath, being sure that you're breathing. And then I want you to play with how you're breathing. And I want you to think of this as an exploration. There's no right, there's no wrong. I want you to think about what happens if you breathe in and out through the nose. How does that feel? How does it feel if you do that through the mouth? Or how does it feel if you do it as a combination of, right? How does all of that feel? And even more interestingly, how does that affect your dance movement? So that's what we're going to tinker with today. I'm going to teach you the undulation. And then as we dance it with music, I'm going to invite you to focus not only on the movement itself, but exactly what is it that you're doing with your breath? And what can you do to make the movement as delicious as possible? So let's go ahead and dive into this undulation. The undulation, because it uses your entire torso, there's actually sort of 4 pieces that I like to think of that are the building blocks to this movement, right? And these 4 pieces are all things that we talk about in a lot of detail in my beginner technique toolkit, which you will have access to soon. And these pieces are going to be building blocks for a lot of movements. And today, the 4 pieces we are using for the undulation is the chest lift, the chest drop, the pelvic tuck, and the pelvic release. Now, you're already kind of familiar with the chest lift and drop because we did those chest circles yesterday, and we used that idea of the lift and then the drop, which is coming back down to neutral. So you're set, yeah? The pelvic tuck and release is something that we do a bit of within our posture, yeah? So we think about taking the pelvis and elongating, right, to create that nice long neutral spine. Now I'm going to invite you to take it a little bit further and actually engage in the lower abdominal muscle, like right near your pelvis. It's a couple of inches beneath your belly button, right? So not sucking in here in the middle, but actually tucking low in the body. If you could imagine folding yourself in half beneath your belly button and engaging to bring the hips even further tucked up underneath you, right? You'll find your glutes get a little bit involved in this, which is fine, but I want you to avoid creating the movement by solely squeezing your butt cheeks together, right? That's not what we're going to do, because then you end up tied up in knots and you can't add a shimmy and all kinds of things happen. So I want you to think about using the muscle in the lower abdominal to contract, bring the hips further underneath you, and then release it. You can release it to neutral or slightly behind neutral, but always being very careful when you release in the hips to take it only to maybe 70 or 80% of your potential, and watch out for really cramming your hips behind you, which can really feel bad on the lower back, right? So our lower body movement, knees must be bent for this to happen, or else you'll feel very unstable. Tucking the pelvis underneath, releasing to the back, tucking the pelvis underneath, releasing to the back, right? So tuck and release, tuck and release. And our upper body movement, which we're already familiar with, is the concept of lift and drop, lift and drop, right? So when we put these 4 together to create our sinewy, snaky undulation, here's the order: chest lift, chest drop, pelvic tuck, pelvic release. Again, chest lift, chest drop, pelvic tuck, pelvic release. So now, what's happening here with my knees? As I go to the chest lift, I'm straightening my legs a bit, never locking my knees, but straightening a bit helps the chest lift look bigger, yeah? Lift. And then I drop, So I'm bringing this down either to neutral, or you could think of dropping a little bit further, but neutral will be fine. From here, this is the most challenging part. You're dropped here, but hopefully you haven't done anything in the hips yet. So you can tuck and then release. I have to bend my knees for that tuck release to make it nice and seamless. And then I'm straightening again to lift. Drop, tuck, release one more time, just like that. Lift, drop, tuck, release. Yeah, the most challenging part of this is dropping and then tucking right after that, because a lot of times when we drop the chest, our lower body wants to tuck automatically, right? It wants to just sort of counterbalance us that way. But if you do it at the same time, then you've got nowhere to go in the lower body. So you have to think 1, 2, 3, 4, and do them all separately. 1, so that's your center back engaging. 2, your upper abs engaging. 3, lower abs, bend the knees. 4, release, and you can think about relaxing the hips behind you slightly, right? When I start the movement, I'm a straight line from my head to my heels. And when I finish the movement, I'm also a straight line from my head to my heels. I'm just slightly shorter, right? So watch out for ending here. You want to end in a straight line, right? So let's drill this a couple of times more here, smoothing it out. Drop, tuck, release. Yes, lift, drop, tuck, release, lift, drop, tuck. I'll show you from the back. Lift, drop, tuck, release. One more here. Lift, drop, tuck, release. Yes, this is our forward undulation, or our up to down undulation. So now, when we play with this with music, we're going to be doing a couple of things. We're going to change our stance a little bit. You'll see me do this movement here, standing on one leg. It's the same move, but now you've got one leg supporting you through it. So be sure you still bend. You bend that knee. The other leg is extended. Very little weight is on it. We'll take it back here to the center. Maybe we'll bring some arms on top of it if you would like to challenge yourself with a little bit of layer. And we are going to breathe, right? Above and beyond all other things, make sure you are breathing. And then play with how you are breathing. How deeply are you breathing? How fast or slow are you breathing? And what are you using to breathe? And see how that affects your dance. Think of it as an exploration and have fun. Let's do this. All right, let's take a deep breath up. Nice long exhale. We're going to start with that undulation from here in our center position, arms in second. So 5, 6, 7, 8, it's up for 2 and down for 2. Pelvic tuck and release, really slow. Lift, straightening those knees, bring it down. Tuck and release. Again, slow and breathe. And out. How are you breathing? It's up to you. There's no right, no wrong. I guess the only wrong would be if you don't breathe. Yeah, so breathe, please. Tuck. All right, so now we're going to double time. Here we go. It's going up, down, tuck, release. Good. Up, down. Are you still breathing? Yeah. A couple more just like that. Down, tuck, release. Good. I'm inviting you to move your arms if you would like the challenge. Good. Bringing them up to fifth. Now I'm going to float them back down. Down, tuck. Let's try that again, floating them up to fifth. Shoulders stay down, wrists push through space. Good. Flipping those hands so that the wrist pushes through space again. Good. Let's hold the arms down here. Excellent. All right, we're going to double time this. Here we go. Up, roll down, up, roll down. Up, roll down, up, roll down, and breathe, and breathe, and breathe. Good. All right, changing our position. I'm going to face the mirror, taking it on one leg. Here we go. Up, down, tuck, release. Good. Changing the arms. Up, down, tuck, release. Don't forget to bend that leg, even though there's only one leg supporting you. Let's go ahead and switch sides to the left leg. Here we go. Up, down, tuck, release. Up, down, tuck, release. Good. Let's do 2 more just like that. Good. Bring it back to center. Speed it up. Up, roll down. Up, roll down. Up, roll down. And slow it back down. Up, down, tuck, release. Bring the arms up. Nice job. I am super curious to hear how that went. It's such a beautiful movement, but there are so many things going on there. How did it work? Were you able to sort of get the hang of it? What you'll find a lot of times is that the individual pieces will make sense. Putting them together will add a layer of difficulty, and then speeding it up or adding arms and starting to layer creates quite a bit of a challenge. So what I encourage you to do is work to the level of your challenge. Think of it as like a choose your own adventure. If getting those 4 isolations is what is really challenging you right now, work on that and don't worry about doing really fast with arms, right? Work on getting those 4 isolations. Enjoy the exploration, because the exploration is the journey. It's not necessarily about doing it perfectly with all of the things, right? It's about growing as a person and gaining this new skill and working and understanding your body and breathing through it all, right? I would love to hear from you. And I'm also super curious, like, how did that breathing thing work? Did you find one way or another was better for you breath-wise? Were you breathing? So as you continue to play with this move and the other moves that are coming at you over the next few days, I would love for you to always keep that breath in mind, because it is so incredibly important and essential to everything we do, but especially to the dance. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I'll dance with you tomorrow.